everyone, welcome to Beans and Skeins. My name is Chloe and today I'm going to be sharing a little bit more about the knit along that Natalie from Knit Cheek and I are running called A Sweater for Summer. And then I have a bunch of pattern ideas and ways that you could modify them to make them work for the knit along if you want to participate but you don't really know what it means to have a sweater for summer. If you want to follow along and check back in for prizes and project progress, I'd encourage you to subscribe to the channel and go check Natalie out on her channel called Knit Cheek. I'll link her below. And we are so excited for this, and if you want to share what you plan on making or what yarn you're going to use, you can do that in the comments, and I'm looking forward to reading them. The knit along is going to run from April 1st to June 30th, and the idea is to make a sweater that you could wear in the summertime. You can enter the knit along by tagging both Natalie and I on Instagram posts and using the hashtag A Sweater for Summer. Whips are welcome, and there is no pressure to finish by the end of the knit along on June 30th. There will be some prizes as we go, which will be announced here on YouTube. And when we announce those, we will ask the winners to contact us. We're not going to contact you, so just beware of those skeezy people who want to take advantage of our gentle crafter hearts. Natalie and I have put together some ideas of types of project that you could make or substitutions you could consider in order to make a project more summer friendly. You could pick a design that was intended for summer use, which is probably the easiest way to enter the knit along. You could make yarn substitutions and sub in a plant fiber or a plant fiber blend in exchange of a 100% animal-based fiber. You could modify the sleeve length and either shorten the sleeve length to a 3/4 sleeve or all the way up to a t-shirt. The caveat with that is t-shirts are welcome, tank tops are not. Tank tops are not a sweater, but you can modify a sweater into a short sleeve sweater. You can knit a fingering weight pattern to create a very lightweight thin fabric. Alternatively, you can also knit a lace pattern, which would create something that's quite breathable and airy. You could also knit something that's at a very open gauge, so either single strand of mohair or subbing in a fingering weight yarn into a DK or worsted weight pattern. Natalie and I have tried to keep this KAL as flexible as possible because we know that there's different climates across the world, and what is a summer garment for me may not be a summer garment for you. But that is all the admin KAL chat that I have. I now have 20 patterns that I'm going to share with you. They are all size inclusive and they're all from smaller designers. There's a few, I would say, like more well-known designers in there, but recently I've been very inspired by some designers that are new to me, and I will link the pattern bundles that Natalie and I have put together in the description box below. I'm probably going to continue adding to it because that's just who I am as a person. But from all the patterns in there, I've picked 20 to share with you today. So let's get into the juicy stuff. The first pattern is the Cirrus Sweater by H. Iris Makes. This is a worsted weight pattern knit with a worsted weight yarn and a mohair, and it has a set-in sleeve and a split hem. So I think that you could make this one more summer friendly by not using the mohair. You could shorten the sleeves, or what I would probably do with this one is I would increase the length of the split hem. So I would split my hem way higher, and then that would allow for more airflow and breathability through the body of the sweater. Next is the Pelen Sweater by Audrey Borrego. This is an all-over lace drop shoulder sweater knit at a 27 stitch gauge, and it is actually designed to be a summer sweater, and it's designed in a plant fiber. So this is one that you probably don't have to make any modifications. I do think that you could play with the length of the sleeves if that's what you are wanting to do, but you could do a full length sleeve as well. And this pattern is free on Ravelry. The third pattern isn't technically a sweater, it's a poncho. But I think it counts. If you're interested in making it, I think we'll allow it, because we're not the KAL police. But it's the Comfort Zone by Espace Tricot, which is a high neck poncho designed in an air and weight yarn. So I think that you could make this one more summer friendly, either by splitting the poncho earlier up on the arm, and you could sub in a plant blend fiber or do a looser gauge, like a looser fabric, and you could also modify the neck to not be so high because it does come up quite high. And this pattern is also free. I think a poncho could be a good option because I think that could go over top of a dress really easily, and because there's no tight body, since there has to be room for the arms, it's gonna allow a lot of airflow anyway. The fourth pattern is called the Aria Cardigan by Simone Ryan of Rust Knitwear, and this is a all over garter and lace stitch sweater knit in 3 strands of mohair. So this sweater is knit at 15.5 stitches, so it's quite open, and I think that if you didn't want to use 3 strands of mohair, you could easily use a DK weight yarn or 1 strand of mohair, 1 strand of fingering. So I think that this one is an option for if you want something that's slightly warmer but not too warm. The Metropolitan Pullover by Tori Yu has a contiguous construction which creates little saddle shoulders, and it also has really nice details on, like eyelet details along the raglan increases. I think that this one would be really cool in a fingering weight yarn to create a more loose and open gauge. And I also really love the finishing details along the hem, neckline, and armholes, because it looks like, I believe, like a rolled hem or potentially an I-cord, and I like that. The Melissa Cardigan by H. Iris Makes is knit at a 22 stitch gauge with a fingering weight and a mohair yarn, and it has a really relaxed fit and a very wide v-neck. And so to make this more summer friendly, I think that you could either shorten the sleeves or remove the mohair from this. But I do think that the wide set of the v-neck right here at the shoulders is going to help heat escape, and it's going to prevent you from overheating. Ship Shape by Heidi Kremer is a boat neck sweater knit at a 22 stitch gauge. It is all over stripes, and I love this, the pattern, like the sample for this one that the designer knit. It's navy and blue, and it's very nautical, and I really love the little shoulder wedge detail that she has there on the shoulders in stripes going perpendicular to the rest of the stripes on the body. And I think that if you knit this either like in a more summery yarn or with a 3/4 sleeve, it would be so cute at the beach. It's like perfect vibes. I love it. The Little Yan Pullover by Eri Shimizu has a really cool texture, and it's very lightweight at 18 stitches per 10 centimeters, knit with a fingering weight and a mohair. I think that to make this one more summer friendly, you could again shorten the sleeves. I think this one would be a good candidate potentially for swapping in a fully summer yarn, but you also could just swap out the mohair, and that could be nice as well. The Trixie Sweater by Espace Tricot is a boat neck drop shoulder, very oversized sweater, which has 1 row stripes, which I think is really cool. And I think that this one could be really nice if you used a summer specific yarn, but I also think that because the drop of the shoulder is so significant that you've just omitted the sleeves, you're still gonna get a t-shirt. And then if you put like a little bit of like finishing, like some ribbing on there, I think that would be a really nice summer look. The Coloring Book Raglan by Amy Scher is a raglan style sweater with stripes on the body after you split for the sleeves, which I really like. I think that's a cool feature. I think that this one would be really interesting if you're more comfortable kind of modifying a pattern by when they are doing the stripes across the body there, instead of changing color, you change pattern and either do some eyelets or add in a little bit of kind of like DIY lace. I think that would be really cool. I think you could also, if you wanted to change the color or change the yarn, if you did like a much lighter gauge there and did mohair for those stripes to kind of create some more airiness, I think that would be really interesting. So it already, I think in my mind, is a fairly summery pattern. It does have, I believe, an option for 3/4 sleeves. So if you just wanted to make it even more lightweight, that's probably what I would do. I love the idea though of adding like your own DIY stripes, and instead of using a different color, using a different stitch pattern. The Nicola Sweater by Vert & Rose Knitwear is this really cute combination of garter and eyelets. And I love her sample because it's done in like hot pink and beige. I think it's so cute. I think it's like very I think it's very summery and fun. And it's a drop shoulder sweater knit at a 15 stitch gauge. And so because it's so open, I think you could easily swap out those yarns for something either lighter weight wool or still a summer fiber and get something that you can wear. The Winnie Sweater by This Bird Knits is a bottom up drop shoulder lace pattern. And I think that this one would be really cool with shorter sleeves. The lace pattern to me is very floral, and it almost looks like little leaves growing up the body of the sweater. And so I think then by doing just like a little bit of lace on a shorter sleeve, that would be such a cute shirt. And I think because that this one, I can't remember the gauge, but I believe it's like a little bit more chunky, potentially like in the 20 stitch area. I think that you could easily use like Sandus Garnlina or Drop Spell, which is like a pretty affordable summer yarn. So I think that that would be a really good option for this one. The Campsite Cozy by Alicia Plummer is knit, I believe, at a 20 stitch gauge, and it's knit from the top down. And once you connect at the bust here, it starts having little eyelets, which increase in frequency as you get closer to the hem. And for me, I think that is so cute. I could picture it in front of a campfire and still be aerated because of the little lace. The Turtle Dove V-neck by Sonner Yarn Co. is a free pattern on Ravelry and has a really deep V-neck at the front, a bit of a higher, more structured neck that has twisted rib stitches, and then the twisted rib stitches carry all down the front of the sweater. This one is knit, I believe, in a DK and a mohair. I think you could omit the mohair and get away with that. I don't know that this one will be great to sub in a summer yarn, just because I think the wool provides a bit of structure for the higher neck. But I think with shorter sleeves, this one would be so cute and stylish, and kind of the same vibe as the campside cozy, where it's like easy, you just put it on, you don't have to be, you're not very precious with it, it's just like a bit more of like a utility garment, which is kind of what I picture for this, but let me know what you think. Dream Weft Sweater by Jeanette Knits is knit at an 18 stitch gauge with a fingering weight yarn, and it's very open lace all the way around. So this for me is like beach cover up, or like you live in an incredibly warm climate but kind of want something still kind of sexy. It also has like rave vibes. I think if you did this in like a neon, it'd be rave vibes. And this one is designed as a summer garment, so if you're not wanting to make any modifications, this could be a good option also. The Moon Crush Pullover by Jack Studio is an intarsia sweater pattern with a really open neckline, like a big scoop neck. And I think that this one is really cool because one, it's already knit at a fairly open gauge, and so it should be fairly breathable. I also think that it would be good in like if you swap in a summer yarn, and you can do it in 2 or 3 color intarsia. And so if you have awkward amounts of yarn, either that you impulsively bought because it was really pretty but you only bought one skein because it was expensive, or if you have stuff left over from other projects, I think this could be a good use for it. I really like it. I think it's so cute, and I actually added it to my to knit list when I was looking for patterns for this pattern roundup. Astrid by Pernille Larsen of Knitting for Olive also just kind of gives me elevated sweatshirt vibes. It's knit at a fairly relaxed gauge, so I think if you put in a DK weight yarn, even a plant-based fiber, that would still be like a nice fabric with some drape and some airiness. And I really love the split curved hem at the bottom. So I think another really hopefully simple, I haven't seen the pattern, but I think it would be fairly simple modification to make this more summer friendly is to again bring that split hem a little bit further up into the body of the sweater, just to provide a little bit more airiness and air movement and flow. Blending In by Anna Joanna is a sport weight pattern pullover knit at a 24 stitch gauge, and it's just another take on that all over texture with lace eyelets that we've been seeing a lot of, kind of similar in my mind a little bit to the Ingrid sweater or the Salty Days sweater, similar vibes. I think that this one would be really nice in a plant fiber or a plant and wool blend. The wool blend might be a benefit just to kind of keep some of the structure in the texture. But I also think that because it's 24 stitches, you can totally get away with a fingering weight yarn. I think this one's really cute. Next up is the Vivian Vintage Cardigan by Famke from Maybe the Label. And this is an 18 stitch gauge, which is kind of like in that Aran weight. And I think that if you found a lighter weight wool and did a shorter sleeve on this, it would be so cute because you'd get lots of drape from the fact that the fabric isn't so stiff, and there are some like lacy features and some cables or mock cables on here, and I think that that would be a little bit drapey, but it's like a little bit nicer. And so if you're looking for potentially like a cardigan to wear over top of a dress this summer, this could be a really good option. Finally, the last pattern is the Oleander Pullover by Audrey Borrego. Natalie also talked about this one in her pattern roundup, but I am including it because it is the one that I decided to make. I am going to be knitting this in Cotton Lino from the Wandering Flock, which is a cotton, linen, alpaca, silk blend. So the modification that I am making is swapping in a more summer-friendly yarn. And I'm also debating the idea of shortening the sleeves, but I won't decide on that until I have the body knit. This one is knit from the bottom up. It has a really cute scalloped edge on the bottom, and it's all over lace. It is not too complicated, but it does knit up, I would say, fairly slowly, but I am a slow lace knitter. So I did cast this one already because I'm a slow lace knitter and I want to finish it by the end of June to wear it. So I just wanted to give myself a couple extra weeks to work on it. If you want to follow along the process of me knitting that, you can check out my regular podcast, which I think will be another week or two. And yes, that is what I'm making for the sweater for summer KAL, and I'm really excited about it. It is beautiful. It is also free on Ravelry, which I love. So those are all the patterns I'm going to share today. I am going to link the pattern bundle on Ravelry that I made, as well as Natalie's bundle below in the description. My pattern bundle has over 120 patterns in it, and I'm probably going to continue to add to it because I have no self-control, and that's who I am as a person. I'm really excited to see what you're going to work on, and if you know what pattern you want to use or you know what yarn you want to use, let me know below. Natalie and I are kind of lurking in the comments of each other's videos and seeing what's going on and who's making what, and so that's super fun. If you want to follow along, yeah, please feel free to subscribe, or either to me or to Natalie, anyone. And yeah, that's everything for today. I'll see you next time.